I'm playing every Final Fantasy game in order, from 1 all the way to 16, completely blind. I grew up with a PlayStation 1, but I somehow missed what people call the golden age of RPGs. So instead of jumping around, I'm doing this the hard way. One game at a time, no nostalgia goggles, and no skipping ahead. And I'll be honest, no bias. I've never experienced these games before, and I want to grow with them the same way the genre grew. By the end of this video, you'll know whether I enjoyed what most people consider the black sheep of the Final Fantasy franchise, or whether I bounced off of it like everyone warned me I would. Because going into Final Fantasy 2, all I knew was this: people don't like it, and the combat system is weird. And honestly, that made me more curious. I went into Final Fantasy 2 completely blind. No guides, no meta knowledge, just vague sentences I've heard over the years floating around in my head. And here's the thing: one of my favorite RPGs of all time is Quest 64. And Final Fantasy 2 is the closest game I've ever played to Quest 64. So right away I thought, there's a chance I might actually love this. The first thing that grabbed me wasn't the combat, it was the party. You create 4 characters, and then the game kind of just removes one. No explanation, no timer, just gone. That hit harder than I expected because in every Final Fantasy, I named the same 4 characters. It's my way of feeling like I'm growing with the series. So when the game took one away without warning, I was confused and kind of annoyed. And then it got stranger. The game would randomly throw temporary party members into my team, wildly underleveled, while the rest of my squad was stacked. So now I've got this poor little weakling getting erased every fight, and I'm just thinking, why are you here and who sent you? Stop joining my team. Now let's talk about the thing that everybody argues about: the combat. You see, Final Fantasy 1 is a traditional RPG. You kill enemies, you level up, you get stronger, and you buy better gear. Final Fantasy 2 throws that entire idea away. There are no levels. Every stat improves based on how you play. Use swords, your sword skill increases. Cast magic, magic grows stronger. Take damage, your HP goes up. Yes, that means you can literally hit yourself to grow. Is it broken? Absolutely. Did I love it? Also, absolutely. What really sold me was watching spells evolve visually. Thunder starts as a tiny lightning bolt and later becomes a massive screen-filling storm. I never even maxed anything out, but watching magic grow felt incredible. I genuinely wish more fantasy games did this. Since there are no classes or jobs, by the way, forgot to mention that, I built my party like this: 2 overpowered mages, 1 swordsman who dabbled in buffs. Everyone knew heal and revive. Every base was covered. Once I understood the grind, everything felt simple and controlled. And I loved the small details. Like how armor doesn't visually change your character, but the weapons do. Seeing katanas, flame swords, and Excalibur during attack animations, that stuff matters to me. And yes, Excalibur being back was the first time I thought, oh wow, I remember that from the first game. That's when the series continuity started clicking. Pardon my messing that word up. That said, this game did test my patience. There's this thing, a password system that is for progression, and it's rough. NPCs say keywords in red. You're supposed to learn them and ask the right person about them. The problem is, the game never tells you who that person is. So I'd wander around thinking I was stuck, only to realize I forgot to ask one random NPC one specific word. This happened a lot. Like, almost made me quit a lot because I had to keep going back and forth. And there's no fast travel. The map is very open, which sounds great until you wander into an area you're not ready for and get soft blocked by enemies that one-shot your team. I had to reload saves more than once because I literally could not move forward without dying. Someone would die on my party. I'd flee the battle. I'd try to walk to an inn, and I'd trigger another battle, and that cycle would continue. But I will tell you, something happened that generally caught me off guard. In the story, there's a moment when you're tasked with a big event, and you don't make it in time. You fail. Not a reload your save fail, a story failure. And the game doesn't shrug it off. You travel back through the world afterward, and suddenly towns are destroyed. Cities are in ruins. NPCs aren't repeating their filler dialogue, they're mourning. People talk about loved ones who died, survivors are injured, others are grieving. And I just sat there thinking, this is an NES game. What are we doing right now? For a game from this era to say, yeah, you messed up and the world is going to feel it, is kind of wild. That moment alone made me respect what Final Fantasy II was trying to do. It doesn't always pull it off cleanly, but it had cojones, big ones. Final Fantasy II didn't always know how to tell its story, but it wasn't afraid to hurt its world, and that mattered. The story itself is ambitious. There's an overarching Dark Knight plot, but it's buried under what feels like 20 interconnected mini-stories. You help someone, you move on, they die. A lot of characters just die. Honestly, I find it kind of funny. Was I supposed to care deeply? Probably. Was there enough time to build that connection? Not really. But for an NES era game, I respect how hard it tried. My biggest frustration comes near the end. You finally get your permanent fourth party member back, Leon, who I renamed Ezra 2. Cool twist, cool idea. But he's wildly underleveled and the game expects you to grind him at the very end. That felt awful. And then, after everything, the party just separates. Like, after all that, come on. Final verdict. So do I like Final Fantasy II? Yes, I do. I think it's better than Final Fantasy I, but it's also a much weirder game. I completely understand why it's the black sheep of the franchise. If you want a traditional RPG progression and a tight focused story, this is not the game for you. But if you like experimental systems, broken builds, and becoming an overpowered mage and doing ridiculous things, there's a lot to love here. I'm giving Final Fantasy II a 6.5 out of 10. It's messy, it's broken, it's frustrating, but it's also charming. And if this is considered the worst Final Fantasy, I'm going to absolutely love this franchise.